Alright, so before we get into the video, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I need to feed my kids, man. I need to feed them, please. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, if you could hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. So Purgatory Bond, he's going to be dropping on Global in a couple of hours, like 12 hours from now, right? So he should be arriving, and with him, a lot of people probably don't have the gems to summon on him, so maybe you won't be able to get to the 900. Of course, you could get lucky and get him on a single, your first multi, even before the 900, of course, but the chances of that are really, really low. But I know a lot of people probably are going to want to run counters to Purgatory Bond. Now, I'll be honest, he's a very, very tanky unit because of the fact that his max HP is pretty much his entire gimmick, right? It even says on his passive, on his buff skill, everything. So his max HP is pretty much his entire thing. But there are a couple of units which can actually, pretty much do a good job at stalling him out, beating his team, because once you beat his support units, it becomes really, really easy to stop him, right? But yeah, so let's just go over like a few blue units that could counter him. There's not too many, but I think there's a decent amount that you could start working on now, right? So we'll head over to the blue characters. Now, we look down this list. Hawk and Oslo, terrible unit. Very, very mid. But yeah, so we look down this unit, or this list, right? And we see all these blue units. The first one is Chandler. Now, Chandler is very, very strong for many reasons, right? He has Dragon Claw, blocks all skill effects, and including those of ultimate moves. Very, very good. So Bond can't buff himself. I don't really know if Detonate is all that important to be like 100%, because even if he does block Detonate, he is still going to do a pretty decent amount of damage if he has Arthur and a lot of max HP buffs on him. So he might still do a lot of damage, but it does help, right? It really does help to stop, Arthur, with his charge, even though charge isn't a thing, or his Detonate ultimate. He can't stop Arthur's stance, but he can stop his damage output, So he is useful, especially with his passive, right? So he's going to decrease Bond's stats by 7% if he uses all his cards. Like, let's say he uses a buff card, then he uses his attack skill. That's 14% to his stats gone, right? So that's really, really good. Again, don't know if it's all that crazy, but it is still helpful, right? It is still helpful. And his full counter now, his full counter is pretty much going to be his bread and butter to stopping Bond. Because if Bond does massive damage on Chandler and doesn't kill him, Chandler can still dish out really, really good damage on rank 2 and rank 3. So keep that in mind. He's going to be doing massive damage with his full counter if Bond doesn't kill him, right? And he shouldn't. Chandler's pretty good at like taking hits, right? He's pretty decent at taking hits, so he shouldn't kill him. But yeah, obviously you want to run this Chandler with Tarmiel, or you want to run him with Goddess Elizabeth or something like that, right? Just like a stalling team to make sure Bond can't really deal damage, pretty much, right? But yeah, he's really, really good. His ultimate, really, it's alright. Like, it's not really going to do that much to Bond, since it isn't AoE, and Bond is going to have massive amounts of health. It's really not going to do that much. So it's pretty much like, to be honest with you. But yeah, so Chandler, right, on that list of blue units was the first one we looked at. Then we'll take a look at more. So we go down the list, right? Blue Derriere, she can be good, depending, because if you run her on a certain team, I guess, right, she can be good because she can remove Bond's HP buffs, right, when he buffs up his buffs himself up with his skill. She can disable his ultimate move effects. She also gets increased to her basic stats every time she takes hits, up to 3 times. So really, really good, kind of like stalling unit to face Bond. I don't know if she actually will be crazy though. I mean, yeah, she can taunt, but Bond has an AoE skill, so it doesn't really matter, right? Even her commandment kind of doesn't apply to him, because I believe he has a melee skill, right? So it's not ranged, it's melee. So I think so. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's melee. But yeah, so I don't even know if her commandment will be all that helpful. Her amplify will do damage though, right? It is going to do damage. If you have her like, I would say 4 out of 6. Yeah, see, 819. I would say 4 out of 6, right? With her buffs, when you use her taunt, she actually might be able to do really, really good damage to Bond. Like, borderline kill him. Like, Maybe, depending on how buffed up Bond is. Maybe. But she's not a bad choice. It's just she's like kind of a choice, right? I guess you could say. Blue Deen. So Blue Deen is actually a unit that might be pretty helpful because one, she can disable attack skills even though it's single target, and two, she has Rupture. So Bond buffs himself up in the entire team. She uses her Rupture card. She actually can do pretty good damage. She also increases her attack by 6% at the end of every turn. Now, if they ever decide to buff units, I'm telling you right now, if they just change this to attack related stats, she's actually looking pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, right? But unfortunately, it is just attacked by 6% right now. But it is still a pretty good buff, right? It's a limit of 5 times, so you're looking at what, 30%. So very, very nice buff all around. It just, you know, she's very useful, I guess you could say. She doesn't have any extra effect added on her ultimate, which, I mean, it's okay that she doesn't have it, right? It's okay, but it's like, and I said 30 for this. I think it's 35, right? Because 6 times 5 is 35. Yeah, I can't do math right now. I can't do math. But yeah, 30, 35 somewhere around there. Don't get me in the comments, please. But yeah, so she's really good. She's a good option, I guess you could say, free to play option to face Bond. She obviously gonna need a very high build in with a good team. Probably run her with Ludo or something like that, but she can be useful. She definitely could be useful. So let's go ahead and look back at the list. But yeah, there's pretty good units you could use. Draw, you actually could use Draw, but you kind of have to get lucky. You have to get Petrifies, because Bond isn't immune to debuffs, right? You have to get lucky with a team build for him using Petrify. I mean, you could run, like, I don't know, someone strong, like the one Escanor next to this Droll, but I don't know. I feel like you would have to get very lucky. I feel like Droll actually wouldn't be a good option. He could be an option, I guess, if you really wanted to. Maybe if you run him and Deen, maybe, because Deen could attack, disable Bond. I mean, sure. I mean, sure, right? He is getting, you know, giving allies attack by 3%. So top this with Giant Deen, and she might be able to do pretty good damage actually. So maybe. Easton, definitely not. We look at 11. 11 actually might be a very good option to face Bond, because her Power Strike card again is equal to the amount of resistance that Bond has. So she's gonna do an additional damage, right? And she already has increased damage of 40%. She actually could be a very good option to face Bond. I know maybe a lot of people haven't summoned or didn't summon on the Stranger Things collab banner, which is fine. You know, a lot of people may have skipped, so people might not have her. But if you do, I don't think she'd be a bad option. You might just have to, you know, be careful how you play. But otherwise, she might not be the worst option, right? She definitely could be a very good option, right? So 11, pretty good. Let's keep going. So we go down more. Aha, there it is. Obviously, Goddess Elizabeth, very top tier option. You know, just stunning Bond, getting shield. If you get unlucky and don't like get a shield or a stun, I don't know what to tell you, man. But she's a pretty good option. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to be toxic, you could run Elizabeth. I know Amelia's coming up next. You could run Amelia with Goddess Elizabeth. You could be very toxic like that. You know, so, but I guess your only really big problem is if you face a 6 out of 6 Bond, you're done. Like, if you face a 6 out of 6 Bond, you are finished if he gets his ultimate off. Regardless of you having this shield or this reflect, you're just finished. There's no way around it. Like, you're dead. I'm not even kidding. You're just dead. Like, there's no chance of living for you. But if you're not facing a 6 out of 6 Bond, there you go, right? There you go. Amelia. Like I said, Amelia, you could run her with Goddess Elizabeth, be very toxic. You know, she could freeze Bond. That's all she needs to really do is just freeze Bond. She has Dissolve, so that could work in her favor. So she's a really good option, but I know, again, she's a limited unit, collab, people might not have summoned on her, so if you have her, pretty sure that you're gonna use her to face Bond to counter him, but if you don't, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but She's a very, very good option. Amelia is very toxic. She's still, I think, honestly, she might be, is she the best collab unit? Maybe. Yeah, she might actually be the best collab unit. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, she might actually be. Obviously, the one Escanor, very, very powerful. The only thing is that even Escanor sometimes can't even kill Bond. I've seen videos where Escanor has done 2 level 3s and still did not kill Bond, right? 2 level 3 flood cards, and he still did not kill Bond. So he is a good option to run, obviously, you know, with DPS, but don't just bank on him being, you know, oh, he's gonna kill Bond in 1 turn, like, because he's not. He's not gonna kill Bond in 1 turn, especially if you're running Green Gulther with him. Green Gulther's gonna die, like, he's just dead, right? So, the one Escanor, very, very good option. Keep moving down. I mean, you could use Jericho. Blue Jericho might even be a pretty good option because she reduces HP related stats. I don't have Jericho, right? New Legend Jericho. I actually don't have her, but she could be a fairly decent option because, again, decreases HP related stats, which is kind of good, right? To stop Bond from doing his maximum amount of damage. Because on rank 1, she does 15%. On rank 2, she does 15% still, but for 2 turns. And then rank 3 is a 30%. So she could be, plus she does explode damage. She's a blue type unit. You know, if a critical strike occurs from an ally skill use. The only problem is this passive right here. You're probably not going to crit Bond as much as you might think. Because Bond's crit resistance is very high. So you might not crit him as much as you think you will. But if you do, you know, she increases allies crit chance, so, you know, pretty decent passive. And obviously, you already know her ultimate is Spike. So, I mean, she's a pretty decent option. I wouldn't say she's the best, but, I mean, if you have her, definitely could try using her if you really wanted to. So, you could do that. You know, you got Jenna. No, Jenna's not good. King. You got Blue King. Blue King is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, because he can petrify, he can heal, remove debuffs, right? Shatter AoE, very, very powerful. Don't think it's gonna kill Bond still, but very powerful, all the, you know, all the same. So there you go. Anyone else that's blue? I don't think so. Small Wing King, he really can't do much. I mean, Ludo can if he out CCs Bond, but Bond has the highest CC in the game, so it's yeah. But if he does out CC Bond, he could be helpful, you know, running him as a support unit to have your other units do damage, but really not all that crazy. I think that's Tarmiel. Tarmiel's good. Tarmiel is good, but your only problem is if you don't get a ult depletion move or a stance, you're dead. That's it. You're dead. But Tarmiel does reduce max HP by 200% of his own defense. So if you have a very, very built Tarmiel with defense, you can put Bond in a state, if you go first, where he is going to take really good damage. So you could make a team based around Tarmiel. I know a lot of people like running Tarmiel, Goddess Elizabeth, you know, Chandler. Sometimes the one depends on your team setup, but yeah, he's a very good option if you really want to use Tarmiel. I would say, honestly, Tarmiel is probably one of the top tier options. It's just if you don't get, you know, ult depletion or shield, you could see yourself, like, in trouble, right? In very, very big trouble. And then Zeldris and Valenti, no. So, Zeldris, well, Valenti actually might not be that bad with her passive. If this were, I'm telling you right now, again, if they ever decide to buff units, if she could be used on the sub slot, she would, yo, she would be the worst matchup for Bond because of this infect. When he buffs himself up, he wouldn't be able to recover, right? He wouldn't be able to lifesteal. So she would be one of the top tier, one of the best units if she could be used on the sub slot. If she's her on the front lines, I mean, she ult seals. I mean, she has that going for her, right? She has rupture. I guess that could be useful as well, sort of, because it is single target. She is blue, so maybe Valenti might actually be pretty damn useful. I have her 4 out of 6. If I get her 6 out of 6, I might try. I'm not gonna lie. On the seasonal banner, if I get her 6 out of 6, I might try. But as far as blue units go, that's pretty much it. Green units, green units can't even touch Bond. Like, they can't even do. Oh my god, it's disgusting. Bond is literally, like, he's the worst. He is literally the worst nightmare for green units in this game. I mean, you could run Assault Mode, but no one really is going to do that. You could run Merlin, but again, no one really runs Merlin because of the fact that even though she can't take more than 40% of her own damage, she can't really damage Bond either. He's just going to heal up any damage he receives. Maybe if you get, again, this is maybe, if you have 2 level 3 Power Strike cards, right, you have an effect card at hand, you can play it smart, maybe. So, I mean, you got that going for you. But as far as like green units go, they can't compete, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. They literally can't compete. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, you can use Zanari. Zanari actually low-key, I'm not gonna lie, she kind of is useful because she removes debuffs, she heals, and she seals ult move gauge. So very good. Plus, she can fill up her own ultimate move gauge whenever she removes a debuff from an ally, which is very, very nice, right? Very, very nice. She also increases HP-related stats. She also good support for Bond, by the way. Very good support for Bond, surprisingly. So you can use Zanari, but as far as that goes, that's pretty much all the units. I mean, obviously there's probably some more I missed, and if I did, I apologize. Just let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, Purgatory Bond is a very, very formidable opponent in this game. But let me know if you guys are preparing your counters now. Let me know if you know I missed a unit that you're working on and it's very good, a top tier option. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. If you did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like for the algorithm, comment below, and as always, I will see you all next time.